Hello again, everybody. It's Andy here. I'm looking at the Canadian dollar. I just wanted to give you a quick heads up as to the opportunity that I'm looking at. This is a daily chart again of the Canadian dollar for all you Forex traders and anybody else who has not traded Forex. You can see what kind of opportunities uh, you get in the Canadian in Forex, particularly the Canadian right now. We have this trend line breakout that's occurring at this moment. And this is after a recent trend line breakout. You could see that you had this long downtrend that culminated with a breakout of the trend line, and that is symbolic of a trend change. And then after that, we had the market retrace back to the backside of the trend line, and now we are bouncing off of the backside of the major trend line, and in fact breaking the short-term trend line. So this is where I'm actually taking action. On top of that, you have this Fibonacci level that we are holding up above. You can see here that if you were to measure this low to this high, you have a pullback to the 50% retracement level, which is very fascinating to the Fibonacci traders, that's for sure. But you can see here that at the very least we had a retracement to about halfway up this trend line, or up this trend, this short-term trend, came back and then bounced off of this this confluence. So in a sense, right now we have a fresh breakout of the Canadian dollar, and that is something that has caught my attention. So I thought you might like to keep an eye on that. In terms of the stocks scanner here, I'm looking at RH. This popped up on my scanner here, and what I'm looking at is a potential breakout. You can see here that we are trying to push above recent highs going back to 2015, and this is a quarterly chart. This is a long-term chart, so I would not be surprised if this thing pulls back, but at the very least, if it does continue to go, we're looking for a fresh breakout here on RH. Very nice strength building here. You can see over the past year, and it looks like we are on the verge of actually taking out major highs here in the RH. So another one that I'm looking at is Overstock, so OSTK. That's been showing some strength. Here's the quarterly chart again. You can see that very high volume coming in, but if you get a pullback down into the 35 area, that would be interesting to take advantage of. You can see here that the market has a little ways to go. It can't popped up all the way to 75, but on the shorter term basis, you can see that we're building strength here on the quarterly time frame. Another one that I was looking at, CRC, where the market is actually off of these lows here. You can see that you have a higher low that has been formed this July. So you had a big push down, went sideways, and now we're actually starting to perk up here. It looks like you have resistance around 23. So anything that can happen would. What I would be looking for is any kind of a pullback down into the $15 to $13 area for a buying opportunity to see if this market can push up to the $23 area. Another one is ESIO. This one has tried to break out of this previous level of resistance. You can see that the market pushed above this high and pushed all the way to 27. Now we're actually retracing. This is providing a decent area to consider looking at this from the long side. You see that we've had big volume come in over the past couple of quarters as we've pushed above this high. So notice here that the market is consolidating, but now it looks like it's done, and the market is showing some strength here in EISO. And then INSM, take a look at this market off of a long-term base here. And you can see that the volume here is starting to build as we break to the upside. Fascinating to see this market push above the 27 area, and now we're actually kind of holding. So watch for some movement to the upside. Looks like your first target is going to be around here at 42. That looks pretty enticing there. And then NKTR is the last one that I'll show you. You can see here that we've obviously pushed up very aggressively over the past quarter, but now what I'm looking at is to see if we can run up to this 59 area and then surpass that, reaching all the way to the 70 area. But now that you're above a key psychological level at $50, you want to be on alert to see if this thing will consolidate and just try to push higher. You can see here on the daily chart, it looks like you're rolling over a tiny bit, but any kind of a pullback in this might actually present a pretty decent opportunity. You can see the strength is building here, so just keep that in the back of your mind. Good luck in your trading, and hope else we'll see you at the next video.